So let's talk about some of the challenges faced by advisors and consultants when working with family businesses. My take is that every family business consultant is well-intentioned and limited by the skills that they have. So when you think about the two common topics that people face, conflict problems and communication problems, the questions then become, what expertise does that consultant have with communication and conflict? And to the extent we've got deep pockets, or we've got scale, or we've got lots of other tools that we can teach people, we can help them or not. But how do we assess if we're a good fit for them? Most of the time, we trust our gut or our intuition. We say, I care about this family, or this appears to be a wealthy client, so I'll like to work with them, which is a little inappropriate and possibly unethical. So wouldn't it be nice if there was a way to assess in a more valid way, a deeper way, whether they're a good fit? And by analogy, if you think about a doctor who requires that people check their vitals, their blood pressure and heart rate and such before they go in, you would expect that, right? That's a norm for medical practice. But what about family business consulting? What about those who say, oh, we don't have an assessment. We don't know how to validate what the key strengths are. I would say run away, because that's not true. We do know what works. We know what serves family businesses better than not. And we know how an individual fits in that organizational system. And that's what this validated 360 process does, called Assess Next Gen. 360s are more valid than any self-rater assessment. And they're the most valid form of feedback that are used in bigger organizations. All of the publicly traded companies you're familiar with use 360s. But they use them in a way that the academics know is unethical, and we won't do it. I don't want 3M or AT&T to own that assessment. I don't want that assessment to ever be limiting somebody's career, so it gets pulled out of a hat 20 years later and prevents them from being a VP. Instead, I want that assessment to be in the hands of the leader, so that the leader can work with a savvy consultant and accelerate their career. So it's got to be a tool that goes into the hands of the leader so that they can accelerate their career. And it's got to be confidential. And it's got to be two parts, quantitative and qualitative. Why? Because that's how our brains work, and that's how feedback works. We use numbers and we use stories to validate to what extent Doug is capable of doing whatever. Another example comes to mind. When you watch any sporting event, there's usually two sports casters, male and a female, or a quantitative guy and a qualitative guy. The point is, the stories between the two of those data sets are more valid than either the quantitative set by itself or the qualitative set by itself. So that's how this process works. Make sense? Any questions? Just click on assessnextgen.com or reach out and schedule a time to talk with me. My name's Doug Gray. Thanks.